house? Sounds kind of lame.
On a night of make-believe,
Where's everybody?
something very real has been awakened.
Do you hear something?
Something like...
It knows what you fear most
We close our eyes and say it's a dream.
and uses it against you. An all-new Halloween Buffy.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
And I am self-help guru James.
Self-help guru James. You're a very strange fellow. You know that?
Why do you say that?
I don't know.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. Yeah. So this week we will be diving into.
It's funny. It's kind of funny you say that though, because in one of the comments we're gonna one of the reviews we're gonna do. I don't remember if it's Buffy or Angel for this week. The person that left the comment said that that I say things that aren't normal.
You think? Yeah. Welcome to getting to know James. A lot of things are said that aren't normal.
that people just probably shouldn't say or will or do say.
Yeah. Well, I'm guilty of that myself. So
Right.
maybe that's why we get along so well, because we are not normal.
Could be.
And as I was saying, we will be jumping into season 4, episode 4, entitled "Fear Itself."
We will. I was just thinking that so when I edit the videos for YouTube, I usually cut out like the majority of the intro song, and it usually kicks in with you saying hello.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe this week I will leave it in for both episodes, so people can see the goofy little dances we do.
Oh, during the
during the song, during the intro song. So
we got to spice it up,
right, because our relationship it's gotten a little dull.
Yeah,
recently.
those videos will get taken down immediately, but
I mean, we've been lucky so far.
Yeah, true, but YouTube. What's the phrase I'm looking for? It sucks absolute balls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't get taken down for copyright, we'll definitely get taken down for that.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Truth hurts, James. The truth hurts.
The truth does hurt. Sure, not as much as jumping onto a bicycle with a seat missing, but it hurts.
I don't know. It doesn't seem all that bad, honestly. What? Okay. So, James, why don't you take it away with our... Oh, wait. I forgot to ask you. How are you?
I'm 40, going on 43 years old, and I'm wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt. How the fuck do you think I am?
Yeah. Life hasn't treated you all that well, has it?
No. I'm doing a podcast about a teen drama from the late 90s with another 40-plus-year-old man. I mean, come on.
Who is wearing a cutoff lime or neon green DHL shirt? So.
Right. My Skype background is the fucking Batcave.
Yeah.
The new Flash movie. So
yeah.
Come
so
on.
we're really not all that. We're really not all that normal.
Right. You can draw your own conclusions to how things are going.
True enough. I'm a little under the weather myself. So if I were to slip into a coma or pass away during the one of these two back-to-back recordings we're doing, feel free to carry on without me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Don't even mention it. Just
no.
Yeah, just be like, oh well, okay, guys, I'm now a single podcaster.
Right. And then as soon as I was done, I would hop on to Facebook and YouTube and ask one of those people if they would like to join the podcast with me.
Right. Because
like you would be replaced like that.
Oh yeah, it's not like it takes any type of skill or uh, well, anything to
Oh no,
be a podcaster. So,
oh yeah, no,
yeah. So,
no. I have a question for you, real quick.
well, I don't really feel like answering any, so fuck yourself.
well, the funny thing is, I am 90 to 95% certain I asked you this before, and I don't remember.
Okay.
What is running on that monitor behind you?
That's just a screensaver.
Just a screen, but what's it from? Anything in particular, or?
No, it's just like it's a retro like 50s sci-fi amalgamation thing. Like in the 50s when you'd see like the sci-fi movies and they would have little screens somewhere and they'd have this just weird stuff that doesn't seem to, make sense or whatever, and it just looks like scientific stuff. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
that any of your fucking business, but
it's easy to see why we're friends.
right.
I'm honestly surprised that in the 3 seasons, into 4 now that we've been doing this, people haven't commented about how it seems like we kind of hate each other.
This is how we have acted.
Right.
For how long has it been now?
Oh God, 20 years, easy.
From like 98, I want to say is when I met you. 97, 98.
Probably, yeah, that sounds about
So
right. Because had
25 years.
Had Highlander gone off the air yet?
No,
No.
no,
So.
because the very end of season 5 and then all of season 6 took place whilst we were friending.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a good 20 years.
Yeah.
But anyway,
25 if you can count.
But anyway, how about if we talk about some viewer and listener comments and reviews? How does that sound?
I'd really rather not, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I'd really rather just get on with the fucking show and get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just being honest. No, of course not. Of course. Let's hear them comments. They better be very complimentary.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it, I guess. I don't deliberately mean to seem like I'm like not paying attention or whatever, but I am reading the comments off of my cell phone, so just
right.
in case anyone's wondering, it's not like
Plus you do have ADD, so.
What? Huh? Squirrel.
Oh. Yeah, did you just see something shiny?
I did. What? I keep getting distracted by some of these awesome ass bat suits behind me. Look at that shit.
That would be like a room in your house if you were rich, wouldn't it?
Oh fuck yeah, it would, dude. Look at this one. This one in particular, it's blue and gray.
Well, you pointing at your monitor is not going to
yeah.
The fuck.
Okay. Well, over my shoulder here.
Mm-hmm.
There. Can you here? This way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Your finger is disappearing.
It is disappearing into the
No. No, that's not blue.
No, that's not no. Anyway. Yeah, so let's start
but
over.
If you really want to see something, how about this?
How the fuck did you do that, dude?
Right?
How the fuck did you do that?
Right?
Tell me right now, how the fuck did you do that?
Right? You ever heard of David Blaine?
Yeah, you're way better than him.
He's my bitch. He's my bitch. Yep.
So let's start with YouTube, and we have we have comments for Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 4 episode 2 Living Conditions from our good friend S-Dub. S-Dub in the house.
We gotta make like a really goofy sound effect for that.
Sure, we could do that. I mean, that would be your thing, not really mine.
So in other words, I should just do that.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up about it and do it. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
She says, "Do you believe in life after love? Do you believe in life after love? After love, after love, after love." Hey, S-Dub here. We know we can read.
Can we though?
I can. I don't know why
I didn't know you could read.
Yeah.
I don't think I trust you anymore
I can read because I can read.
because you can cipher. I don't think I trust that.
I forgot you're from Indiana, so you don't trust us reading city folk.
That's right. Right. You got that right, motherfucker.
Hey, S-Dub here. Lots of notes for this one. I'll condense as much as possible. 2 parts. Responding back to the last pod and then thoughts on the ep. My Buff and Angel notes got mixed up in the pages while I was writing, and I just ripped them all out and put them together as they made sense. I mean, honestly, S-Dub, that's how we work this show every fucking week.
There's been times where my notes were completely lost, and I'm just like, James, you're doing the whole episode.
It's 100% true.
I'll just say
100%
shit
true.
when I remember it.
Right. There was one time where Jeremy where Jeremy showed me his notes, and somehow it had all just been written in ancient Sumerian.
Yeah.
And he didn't know why.
I don't know how to read ancient Sumerian.
Right. He was like, I started the episode and then I fucking blacked out. And when I woke up 3 days later, I was in Tijuana
At a donkey show.
at a donkey show. And my Buffy notes were in my back pocket, scribbled in chalk in ancient Sumerian. And I was like, dude, you need to stop doing 8 balls.
It was more like a 16 ball.
She says, I may be wrong about some things, but I'm not wrong about DB, David Boreanaz, not being the hottest guy. I said it on the Angel thread too. Have you seen Jensen Ackles? Yeah, I've seen Daddy Jensen. Daddy?
Now that's one I don't understand.
Jensen Ackles?
Yeah, I don't see the big whoop-de-whoop on him. I really don't. I'm not being a smartass. I really don't. I don't get it.
Yeah, he's a very attractive man. I was a big Supernatural fan.
You know who I think he looks like, who he puts me in the mindset of?
Who?
Bupkis.
Oh my God.
He really does.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's the sandy blonde and the that kind of dead eye, that kind of dead look in his eyes, like he doesn't know what day it is, and I don't know. I'm saying.
I don't know if we're looking, as far as Jensen Ackles goes, I don't know if we're looking at the same man.
I just don't see it. I mean, not against David Boyle.
She says, I usually don't like the filler eps, so maybe that's why I like 4 as much as I do. It's something different and saved the season for me. I must request you say daddy in that specific voice every time you say it. Whatever you want, baby girl.
Wait, every time you say what?
Daddy!
Oh, if you're going to say the word daddy, you have to say it like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I'm going to request that as well.
Living Conditions. Song is still a banger. It was heavily overplayed back then, and I had to not hear it for 20 years before I could again. First use of auto-tune on that song, I thought I read. I don't know. Google it. Okay, Jeremy, Google that while I get going.
Fuck you. I don't care.
I'm torn. I sometimes agree with Kathy, but she's such a clingy, weird, not the fun kind, annoying character. I'll overlook some stuff I didn't think Buff should do.
Wait, Kathy, the roommate?
Yeah.
Ew. Okay.
I'll overlook some stuff I didn't think Buff should do, but she is an only child, so I don't think the milk thing would cross her mind. That's probably true. I'm sure,
I still say there's no way the bitch would have known that she took a couple splashes for coffee creamer. So
right. I mean, I guess, like I said, it probably depends on how much cream you like in your coffee.
Who puts half a fucking container of milk in their coffee?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
No one is the answer.
She may have used enough that it was noticeable. Is all I'm saying.
No. Impossible.
If you ever want any truth out of me, play an annoying song over and over again. Oh my fucking god, Kathy can die now. So now we know how to torture S-dubs.
Ooh. Let me do some thinking on that. And next week we're gonna have we might have a little something something.
She says, I'm so disappointed. Crazy Town, guys. But yes, that was the song I thought of too. Unpopular opinion. I find Riley more attractive than Parker. I've never been a sucker for blue eyes. You cancel yourselves at least 5 times per episode.
Yeah. And by the way, agreed.
No lies detected.
Yeah. Parker, yeah, I didn't get it at all. Like the casting, they should have cast someone who was kind of dreamy, and he was just kind of Bill from down the street. I don't get it.
I believe Buff and Riley's first meeting was foreshadowing for season 5, and also for what she said to Willow in the graveyard about having sparks with someone last season. Riley is a whole point, but I can't go further because spoilers. That's right. You fucking don't spoil shit.
Yeah, that's for us to do.
That is our job.
That's my job, son.
I hate Parker. I hate his face. I hate the way he talks, his mannerisms. That is all. That is all. Sleaze taint. Yeah. And this is and mind you, this is on living conditions. This isn't even harsh light of day. Like Parker hate.
And can we just be honest? Like he's like maybe a he's like a 6. Buffy's like a 9-8.
Yeah.
Would she really entertain the thought of
Buffy's a California 8, but she's like an Illinois 10.
Oh, she's a Midwest like 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm saying, and he's like at best a 6.
Right.
Like, would she really waste the oxygen on this guy? I don't know. And he's a known thief. He literally admitted it to her and tried to show her how to also be a thief.
Right. I know after the Angel exit, the writers felt like they needed to fill in the boyfriend void, but honestly, I would have enjoyed our girl being totally single for at least half a season.
Or hardcore lesbian. I would have been perfectly fine with that.
See more of who she is without Angel, Riley, or someone I cannot say because of spoilers. I agree. I think it would have been great to see like a whole season or more of Buffy just like finding herself and seeing who she is.
Or where she's just like hitting it and quitting it. Like for real. Like where she's just like, I don't need no fucking man. Like, and she's just fucking hitting them and dumping them like, get out of here, nerd. And then the guy goes home crying with his crumpled up clothes and she's burning cigarettes out on his arm.
Right.
Oh, that's Tammy. That's Tammy.
That's Tammy.
My bad. My bad.
Right. Put it out right here, sweetheart. I like it. It's got to be the brand Bagel Bites and air fryer number 1, toaster oven number 2, oven number 3, number 4 thawed and raw, number 5 microwave. JK about 4. What's the joke about 4? That they have to be thawed or that they need to be cooked raw? You're gonna have to explain that one to me. S-dubs, I'm sorry.
You don't understand raw dogging?
No, I understand raw dogging.
Okay.
But we're talking about Bagel Bites. Does she think that they're cooked best if they're thawed first, or does she feel that they're cooked best if they're frozen?
Well, I feel like if they're thawed first, at that point they're already bad.
That's kind of what I feel like too.
Yeah. Like
maybe you're
gonna get botulism, or
like maybe we're wrong though. Maybe S-dubs has been thawing them out her entire life and then cooking them.
Maybe that explains why she's so often wrong about things.
Why she doesn't think David Boreanaz is hot.
Right.
The botulism eating away at her brain.
Botulism, maybe she got Legionnaire's disease. Who the fuck knows?
Right.
Trench foot. I don't know.
Trench foot. The sweater was ugly as fuck. not Buffy's style at all. Our girl fights in pleather pants. Was the sweater Willow's? Could have been Willow's.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Then again, I don't think I've ever seen Willow wear something that horrific.
Some of her first and second season clothes were pretty.
You're right. Yeah, when she was on the softer side of Sears.
Right.
Yeah.
Good callback. High five.
Oh.
We're
We're so bad at this.
we are. We're not good at all.
No.
Oh, if Kath asked me if I always sound like that, I'd say like what? The sound I make when I bang your dad. Whoa!
Oh, that's pretty, dude. Kath would have to go to the burn unit.
Yeah, she would have to go to the burn unit because
she'd need some salve.
Yeah, because there's not enough aloe in the medicine cabinet to take care of that.
Nope,
not at all.
Nope, she's in critical condition at this point.
She says, while I do like your whore, my fave is bitcheroony. Well, we're not going to say that. So,
yeah, that's bitcheroony sounds more like a female insult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of does.
We have penises.
Kinda.
Sort of.
A little bit.
Mostly.
Other than that Debbie ep, have we ever seen Oz be in class, study, or do homework? He's always seen in the cafeteria or when they're sitting around. That's a good point.
Well, remember what he said at the beginning of, God, was it season 3? Anyway, he said, yeah, I don't do homework. And so he's like, I'm just I test really well.
That's true. That is true.
That's why he fucking had to repeat 12th grade.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do shit.
Yeah. But it is funny that we've never seen him in class with any of the other characters.
Yeah. He's like, no, I just test well.
And
he probably only graduated the second time because, the school imploded.
Right.
And they were like, fine, everybody gets a diploma.
The Kathy banging herself part, I laughed until I snorted. I wasn't ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
James did not. He just ignored it completely.
Yeah. Giles absolutely is. I was in a mood last week. I think it was because the episode wasn't that.
You were in a mood last week. To be honest, you were kind of a dick. Like nothing I tried to be fun and enjoyable, you shit all over it. Yeah. You should be ashamed.
But I'm not. Weird. Giles absolutely is a 50 Shades kinky dominant. Yeah, he is.
See?
Yeah,
I'm not the only one that thinks that. He came in, dude, if Buffy had gotten his apartment, let's say 15 minutes before when she interrupted him and post-coital, he would have come out in a French maid's outfit with a feather duster and one of those butt plugs with a tail on it. He would have. He's Giles, dude. He'll do anything kinky. He's a kink meister.
Right. I'm not into him, but just saying I can see it. 2.75 out of 5 whores for me this ep. Oh, and most of the time I listen to you two on Spotify, but since Angel started, I take notes while playing your vid on my phone, also playing the app simultaneously and writing down notes. So I'll be using YouTube more for Angel and Spotify for Buffy apps. Right, because she's actually hasn't watched Angel before.
Oh, that's right. I was going to say, why
Angel
just? Okay, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, because she wasn't into.
She said she tried to watch the first episode one time and it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't grab her by the nips.
Yeah. It didn't get her juices flowing. It didn't make her moist. Daddy. Let's hop over to the old Facebook.
Oh, she didn't answer the other question. Does she have another comment coming up?
Probably for Angel.
Okay,
maybe
she'll answer it there.
What was the other question though?
Why she doesn't post on Facebook?
Oh, I don't. That wasn't we didn't ask that question until we recorded for Harsh Light of Day, which hasn't dropped yet.
Oh, spoiler.
Well,
What?
by the time she listens to this, it won't be a spoiler.
Oh, that's true. Because we are in the future.
We're in the future.
So hopefully she will answer that, though. I'm just curious. But I think I'm gonna, since we don't know the answer yet, I'm gonna go with you, and I'm gonna say she's probably one of the few people who is smart enough to not have a Facebook account.
No, I said she was probably a psychopath because she doesn't have one.
Oh, I'm gonna go with what I said.
Remember, I said, what if she's one of those psychopaths that just doesn't have a Facebook account?
Maybe. Are you ready?
I'm listening.
Maybe she's still on MySpace.
What? It's her and Tom. And
Can we be honest? Can we be honest real quick?
And a bunch of bands no one's ever heard of. Sure.
MySpace was a better platform than Facebook.
It was a better platform than Facebook.
And it just
everything I know about coding web pages I learned from Facebook. HTML or
you mean
HTTP?
HTML? Like HTML and 3/8, that one with 3 L's and a 6 in it.
Listen, my stutter got the best of me. Okay, HTML. The fact that you could have a song load up and play when people came to you. You
could have a whole playlist.
Whole fucking playlist.
Yes. It wasn't moderated to the fucking like the level that Facebook is, where you can just post like a smiley face and you get put in Facebook jail.
Right.
You know.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
No, I would just say it was the best of times, and it was the best of times.
Okay, let's hop over to Facebook, where we will cover some people's thoughts and opinions and ratings of living conditions. We'll start with our good buddy Catherine. And she says, I totally think that Darlene should come on and give her perspective as a first-time watcher. And it would be highly entertaining to hear James flirt with her, making Jeremy gag in the background. Even funnier if Darlene flirts back.
I'll fucking kill you both.
Hi, SW. It's interesting to hear a different perspective about the show. I listen to the podcast on Spotify, and sometimes we'll switch to YouTube when I know it's something I need to see. And then she brings this up, and it's still one of the funniest things that ever happened on here. I know it's something I need to see, like the whole season 2, Jenny sliding in, offering to take Angel to the docks. James's impression was hilarious.
Well, to this day, it's been a little while, but every now and then I will just send James a random video message on Messenger, and it will just be me doing that.
Yeah. I'll send them back. Yeah. This is definitely one of the stinker episodes of the season. Kathy was such an irritating character. You can for sure tell that they are both only children with their inability to share. James, in response to your question about the sweaters, they were just boring, everyday ones, and there really was nothing special about them, I thought. But on the other hand, I totally get Buffy not wanting to share her clothes. I have 3 sisters and have gotten into fist fights for less.
Damn.
Yeah.
I will beat a bitch's ass if she comes and borrows a pair of my socks.
Catherine's throwing bows over sweaters and shit. Man.
Dropping bombs.
I love Cher. She is a goddess. And even so, I would have lost my shit over hearing the same song on repeat. The CD would have disappeared, like the comment just did, or accidentally ended up with a huge scratch, making it unusable. LOL. Buffy could have been a little less childish about sharing her space, but Kathy really made it hard. I also did not understand why the fridge was not in a more central spot or why they didn't have 2. If this school had such spacious dorms, why couldn't they have 2? It's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have answers, unfortunately.
No, we don't. We can't make answers for stupidity.
Right. It always drove me crazy when the Scoobs didn't believe Buffy when she said something was going on, and she is always proven right. Yeah, that's something I take issue with on the show, too. And it happens, like, frequently, where they just like dismiss Buffy's concerns about things. And like, I'm sorry, how many times has she been right? How many times has she saved your asses? Like,
just like, spoiler alert, there's a line in this week's episode where a certain character says, just because you're the Slayer doesn't mean you're the boss. And I'm like, actually, that's pretty much exactly what that
that's
means.
what it fucking means.
And then a follow-up line of, I'm not your sidekick. And I'm like, actually, you personify the word sidekick.
Right. Yeah.
And if there was anything, if there was any word to describe what you are on the planet, it would be sidekick.
Right.
So strike two.
It was hilarious for them to catch and tie her up only for her to escape and knock them out like they deserved. I did think the demons were pretty cool, and I liked that we got to hear their language and just have subtitles. I liked that too, actually. I don't think we really touched on that a whole lot, but yeah, I enjoyed that too, because usually the demons are just speaking, plain English, so I did think that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
The toenails growing was nasty but funny. I forgot in the last episode, I figured that Buffy's college was probably paid for out of a college fund her parents set up for her when she was a kid. It seemed like they were an upper middle class family before the divorce, so I figured they probably were saving for it. Yeah, I mean that seems likely. Yeah.
That or mom's a whore. And makes whore money to send her daughter to school.
Right. Slept with the dean of admissions to get her in, maybe.
Yeah.
Straight Forrest Gumped it.
Probably the janitor too, just because.
Right. I will give this episode 2 gross growing demon toenail clippings. All right. And then I normally don't read other people, like other listeners or viewers' comments to those, but Darlene did comment on this, and I just want to read a couple things she commented on that. She said, pretty sure James flirts with everyone. That's not true.
Actually, it is, because he even flirts with me.
That's not true.
That's totally true.
And 2, she says, besides, he wouldn't know what to do with me. That's probably true.
No lies detected.
You're such a dick.
What?
And then we have Darlene's comments about the episode itself. She says, S-Dub, I really enjoy your opinions, and as Jeremy said, different thoughts give me something to think about. I like that. Yeah, 100%. We've said that a couple times now over the last few episodes. I 100% enjoy seeing the dissenting opinions.
Even when they're wrong, blatantly.
Sure. She says, what the fuck is the initiative? Oh, you'll find out.
Oh, wait a minute. Did one of us say that?
Yeah, I did.
Shit. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Finally, you fucking blew something instead of me.
I'm going to blow you if you don't watch it. Wait a minute. That came out wrong.
Okay. I mean, what? Listen, that's for OnlyFans. Nipples.
My own following. I think it's just the ladies relating to one another. My comments certainly aren't any more interesting than anyone else's, and probably less interesting since I'm a first-time watcher and lack the knowledge and insight revisitors have. Actually, I think that's what makes Darlene's comments in particular more interesting, is because she doesn't have knowledge of what's to come. And
well, now we have 2 because S-Dub
for Angel
has not watched Angel, so
right.
Now we're gonna have 2 to see. We get to see which. We get to decide who we like better based on their comments.
Darlene or S-Dub.
Remember, girls, you're being graded. We're not, because we couldn't care less.
James not going to check out campus prior to starting classes, and that's the difference between community college students and university students. Wow.
Wow. Do you need to take a trip
Wow.
to the burn unit?
Wow.
You need a little bit of salve?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. Some of us weren't willing to go into 6 figures worth of debt just to get a college education. Is all I'm going to say.
Out of this. I will just go ahead and have my my regular Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop and be out of that one.
The extracurricular activities of Nicholas Brendan have been mentioned a few times. Drugs. Yeah, and I think actually someone else responded to her on this comment chain. But yeah, drugs, alcohol. He's been reported for domestic abuse of girlfriends.
Also assaulted people.
Yeah, he's done stints in jail. Yeah,
he smoked it.
Yeah. Valid point regarding the Slayer's strength and healing, Buffy's broken arm. I think my brain shifts into overdrive when watching because there are so many times things happen that don't fit and things don't happen that should. Great point about the writers possibly feeling Buffy needed to be dumb. One writer in particular. Yeah, and I mean that was kind of Joss's whole impetus for creating Buffy is he wanted to kind of toss the stereotype of the damsel in distress on its head. Unfortunately, I do think
he wanted to make her a dummy in distress.
Right, I do think.
Look at the first movie. Christy Swanson is dumber than a bag of hammers.
Right, I do think, unfortunately, in doing that, he did kind of keep certain negative stereotypes of that type of character in movies, and her being kind of dumb was unfortunately one of them. I did not.
Blonde cheerleading high schooler can't be a Rhodes Scholar too.
Right. I did not peg James, but you could if you wanted to. Daddy.
Or no, that would be mommy.
Mommy. For a country music fan, not a diss. Our dad was a country music lead guitarist and singer. Gee, I learn new things about you all the time, Jeremy.
Well, stick around. You'll learn a little bit more in the next 20 years.
Yeah, I grew up listening to country music. My dad was a country music fan. I'm more of an old school country music guy.
That's me.
I really feel like country music took a sharp
doesn't exist anymore.
Took a sharp downhill turn.
It's total shit.
Frankly, after 9/11, like the rash of like rah American patriotism.
We're gonna kick it in the ass, and we're gonna stick the flag up its butt, and
right, kind of really ruined country music. In my opinion, there's still some good artists out there, but it's not like it used to be. There's, you don't have your Waylon Jennings and your Chris Christophersons and your Johnny Cashes,
Willie's. Oh yeah, we do still have Willie.
We do still have Willie.
Willie will never die.
But no upcoming artists like that. I mean, you've got Garth Brooks. I kind of consider he's not like outlaw country like Willie.
He's old school anyway.
But he's old school country, yeah. I check the YouTube and Facebook accounts. I won't be checking the OnlyFans account.
Well, then I guess you'll just be missing out.
Well, she doesn't have to. She's got an exclusive pass.
Hang on. I need to I'm just gonna just do that. Sorry, I was throwing up my mouth.
I've watched Hot Ones a lot. I'll check out Pedro Pascal's episode. Thanks. I watch the podcast. I'd miss out on so much enjoyable nuance otherwise. The other podcast I'm dedicated to is an attorney named Emily D. Baker, who follows pulp culture legal cases, and she was just talking about the same issue. Fellow viewers, I recommend not waiting 2 days for Google Podcasts to drop Slade episodes, or you'll get super behind now that Angel podcasts are dropping too. Speaking from experience, LOL. On to season 4, episode 2, personal thoughts. Kathy the roommate. Oh my God, I'd smother her in her sleep. Yeah. She
I
probably.
wouldn't wait for her to be asleep.
Yeah, no. Why is there a slide lock on the outside of Buffy's closet? What purpose is that supposed to serve? She should, however, have a lock on her Slayer bag. Yeah. Well, okay. Good point. No, I didn't think about that. Maybe she added the lock, thinking that would be enough to keep her roommate out of the closet and not finding her Slayer bag.
Or maybe it's more of the writers trying to say Buffy's dumb, that she put a slide lock on the outside of the door.
Maybe. Willow's roommate having a party in her dorm room. Again, dorm rooms aren't remotely close to being that big, but I'm trying to look past it. Oz's comment about braiding hair with Buffy. Nobody deserves mine, Buffy, and shh, don't engage. Yeah, Oz is great. I mean,
He always has the best lines.
right. And there's a scene in the episode we're about to cover that I kind of wish they gave Seth Green more of this kind of thing to play with, because it was so good, and you really don't ever get to see Oz like this, you know?
Yeah.
So, do you know the scene I'm talking about?
No.
My God. Why doesn't anyone stock up on magic supplies?
See?
It's a good question.
I'm the only one that said it.
No, I agreed. It's a good question.
Because even in this episode we're about to do, Giles is like, I've got to go get some supplies. And I'm like, motherfucker, why don't you just have like at least the basics?
Right.
You know, eye of newt, dick of dog, whatever the fuck you got to have. Why don't you just have that shit already? And, you know.
Flamingo jizz.
Right.
Who's
jerking off flamingos to get the jizz anyway? That's got to be a shitty job. Oh.
It's good money. It's good money. It's a good side work if you can get it.
Good side hustle.
Good side hustle, yeah.
I'm a flamingo.
I'm a semen
pleasurer.
I'm a flamingo. The proper term is flamingo semen extractor.
Okay. Now, I've heard that the only way to extract the semen from a flamingo is orally.
You know what? We're not going to talk about it.
James, right here, got a little. You got a little something.
Is it pink? Is it pink? Is it pink?
It's got a little taint to it, yeah.
The slow-mo of Kathy's toenail flying through the air was hilarious, as was the entire fight scene between them. Yeah, I mean, for a not great episode overall, it had its moments.
And see, for me being the feet gross out dude and everything, God, the toenail thing, I was dry heaving watching it.
Yeah. Buffy definitely has only child syndrome. Yeah. She's gonna have to get over that. I enjoyed this episode. It was fun and funny. I give it 3.5.
I just spit some of my sucker out.
I give it 3.5 uggos. At first, when she said uggos, I forgot that I had said I would slap an uggo with a food tray if they cut in line in front of me. I was like, why is she using uggos as a rating measurement? And I was like, oh, yeah,
because you're a misogynistic.
Because I said I'd slap an ugly broad.
Yep.
I wouldn't. I would never slap any female unless she came at me first.
I'd shake the shit out of one. Remember that? That's an old Chris Rock thing, I believe.
I don't like Chris Rock. Whatever. Sorry.
Whatever. I'm not his friend, so no sweat off my balls.
Comments on the episode podcast. I thought the same thing about the milk situation. There's no way, unless Buffy likes coffee with her creamer instead of the reverse, Kathy could tell a splash or two was missing from her milk carton.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The demon's eyes in the beginning and in the dreams were green. And then she attached a screenshot.
Okay. Did we think that they weren't? I can't remember.
I said they looked blue to me.
What did I say?
I believe you said blue too.
So we were both idiots.
Yeah. I mean, the screenshot she attached, they do...
You're probably colorblind, bro. That's pretty much all men are.
They do look green, but I don't know. Or maybe Buffy said blue? I don't remember. This is the problem. This is the problem with trying to get ahead of ourselves in episode. We've watched 2 episodes since this, so it's hard to
4 if you count.
Right. Well, right. Remember exactly what we said.
If we weren't stupid, we would remember.
Yeah, we would. James, where do I get tickets to the gun show?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hit me up on Messenger, darling.
You two are sickening.
Jeremy, the mattresses and box springs are normally provided in dorms, and yes, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
The Rocket Cafe. Maybe the mascot is the Rockets. I mean, it's as good a theory as any. I don't know.
Or maybe it's just stupid.
Right, and I don't recall ever getting like any kind of answer. I don't think they ever mentioned what the UC Sunnydale mascot even is.
The UC Sunnydale Rockets. I mean, I could see that.
Yeah.
It's dumb, but I mean, yeah.
Hitting an Uggo with your food tray, James. And then she did the laughing, crying emoji. I agree.
You're such a funny guy.
I know. Thank you. I agree with James that the chemistry between Buffy and Parker was higher than between her and Riley. I also agree we were supposed to feel her meeting with Riley was one-sided, and I did. Yeah.
If only it would stay one-sided.
Agreed about makeup sex, but if I hate you, we will not be having sex. So nope to hate sex. So let me clear something up here. When I said hate sex, what I really meant to say was angry sex.
Let me also clear something up here. There's no such thing as hate sex. It's called getting hate fucked.
But really what I meant was angry sex. Okay. Like when you're like angry at your significant other, do
you do this often?
No, I'm single. So
okay.
I mean I guess kind of, because I deeply, deeply hate myself.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
I'm having hate sex quite frequently, I guess. I suppose.
So in other words,
under those circumstances.
So in other words, when you beat it, you really like beat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we already know you cut at the base of your poor little wang. So
hey, who said it was little?
I mean, I'm just playing the odds here.
I have a couple times. I've said it during this very podcast right already. So
I'm just playing the odds,
Both sweaters, especially Buffy's, were 100% grandma. To answer your posed question regarding the sweaters, the only sweater I've ever owned was bought by my dad to cover my amazing assets. Oh.
Why does she say shit like this when I'm involved? I don't want to hear this stuff.
I think she's deliberately trying to get a reaction out of me because she knows there's certain things I can't pass up commenting on.
Well, she's getting a reaction from me, and it's there's vomit in the top part of my throat.
Oh, it's definitely getting a rise out of me.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't have purchased either.
You're gonna get a mysterious package in the mail. backwards and misspelled, and yeah.
It's just gonna be a mysterious white powder.
Damn, that escalated quickly.
So no, I wouldn't have purchased either. Well, I appreciate you guys answering my question about the sweaters, because I really thought maybe it was just me, and I, you know, had absolutely no fashion sense whatsoever to see what the big deal about those two sweaters were. But
Yeah, why they were wigging out about them, yeah.
right.
Because the one Buffy's looked like it came out of Laura Petrie's fucking closet, you know.
Right.
Did I just date myself?
No. Here's something. So the episode hasn't dropped yet, but by the time this episode drops, it will have. We mentioned in Harsh Light of Day, we mentioned T.J. Hooker,
Right.
Kojak,
And Chips.
The Incredible Hulk TV show, and Policewoman, starring Angie Dickinson.
Right.
And I said, "Oh my God, we've just dated ourselves so much." And then you brought up the fact that we frequently mention our ages, which is true. But someone did point out to me that I let listen to the podcast early, that all of those shows, when you and I would have watched them, were already airing in reruns.
Not the Incredible Hulk.
Well, okay.
And actually, I don't think Chips was either. Now Chips might have been, but not the Incredible Hulk.
Right. So they actually technically predate us.
Yeah,
so,
T.J. Hooker was definitely. But the thing is people have to realize those were the shows. How do I explain this? Those were the shows that were on TV all the time when we were kids.
Right.
Because, go ahead.
But they do predate us.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in the same decade as all those shows were made.
Right.
But they do predate it, except, like I said, the Hulk was from 77 to 82, 83, somewhere in there.
Right. So, but yeah, someone was like, you really haven't, you just show that you like to watch reruns of old TV shows. So.
But that's why I was saying that's what TV was like in our childhood.
Right.
I mean, TV wasn't nothing like it is today. It was, if there was a show that was somewhat popular in the preceding 10 years or whatever, it was on a regular rotation on the major networks, whatever major network it had started with or whatever.
Right.
I mean, it was
right. It was reruns, because when you and I were growing up,
didn't really know they were reruns, like
right.
Because you didn't have the internet and you didn't have all this inside knowledge of everything that's going on in the world. You didn't necessarily know the stuff you were watching was old, you know?
Right. And syndication, really, when you and I were little like that, was kind of a relatively new thing.
Very much so. Very much so.
So, but anyway, how about if first, thank you everyone for the comments and reviews and ratings. I'm glad to see that Whore has now been picked up.
WHUORE.
That's exactly how she spelled it too.
Hooer.
So that's that's fun to see. But yes, thank you all for your comments and reviews and ratings. We look forward to reading them. I get a huge kick out of them.
Especially when we're 53 and a half minutes into the episode and we haven't even started the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I said that when we did not the freshman. What was the second episode of Buffy?
The Harsh Light of Day.
No, the second episode.
The second
Living Conditions.
Living Conditions, yeah.
Right.
I wasn't paying attention to you, so.
No, I know.
Whatever.
Living Conditions and the second episode of Angel. That I do enjoy the fact that it takes us a good 50 minutes to get through everyone's comments.
In the dark, that was the second.
Thoughts. In the dark, yeah. Thoughts and comments. And I mean that. That's not like bullshit sarcasm or anything. I do.
Yeah, yeah, he gets off on some of the silliest things. I can attest.
I can't tell you how many times never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think I want to know. Whatever you were gonna say.
That being said, Jeremy,
Yeah.
how would you like your dates and deets cooked this week?
Just boil them real quick and then throw a little fucking garlic butter on them and maybe a little parmesan and go at it.
Okay.
Nothing nothing too I don't want you to slave away in the kitchen all day.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Things to do.
Right. I'm a busy man. I got to go blueberry picking tomorrow, so I don't have time to be cooking up dates and deets all fancy for you.
Okay.
Just for you to be ungrateful about it.
Okay.
Selfish in the bedroom.
Number 2 for one of this episode.
That being said, how about if we finally get into revisiting Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 4, episode 4, our 60th episode of the series overall, Fear Itself. Our episode director this week is Tucker Gates, and our episode credited writer is David Fury. Our air date was October 26, 1999 on the now defunct WB network. Our Nielsen rating for this episode was 4.1 million households when it first aired, ranking it 89th out of the 137 network primetime shows for the week and second out of the 15 primetime shows airing on the WB for the week. So we've actually seen quite a bump up from last week's episode, Harsh Light of Day, which only pulled in 3.4 million households. So yeah, that's quite an increase. Our regular cast, as always, includes Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy, Nicholas Brendan as Xander, Allison Hannigan as Willow, Seth Green as Oz, and Anthony Stewart Head as Giles. Our guest stars this week include Christine Sutherland as Joyce, Mark Blucas as Riley, Emma Caulfield as Anya, Adam Kaufman as Parker, Lindsay Krause as Maggie Walsh, Mark Rose as Josh, Sulu Williams as Chaz, Adam Bitterman as Gaknar, Michelle Norden as Rachel, and Walter Emmanuel Jones as Edward, who some viewers may recognize as Zack, the Black Ranger from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Our episode synopsis this week. Well, first, let me tell you. What was that?
Nothing.
This episode is the second of 3 Halloween-themed episodes to air over the course of the series. A Halloween episode airs every second season of Buffy. Our first one was season 2's Halloween, and our next one will be season 6's All the Way. Our episode synopsis this week reads, Willow, Oz, and Xander convince Buffy to join them at a fraternity Halloween party, and Giles tries to catch the holiday spirit.
Okay, well, that one actually...
It's pretty good.
That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Mine says, on Halloween, Buffy and her friends find themselves trapped inside a haunted frat house, complete with real bats, zombies, and a terrifying demon.
Okay. The frat house in question, the exterior shots were shot at Rosenheim Mansion. It's the same mansion that would go on to be used as the murder house in American Horror Story.
Never watched it.
Okay. We open and our heroes, our protagonists, if you will, Buffy, Oz, Willow, and Xander, are talking about their plans for Halloween and carving pumpkins. Buffy is still moping over the Parker situation, and they all decide to go to the Alpha Delta house for a Halloween party that Oz says is actually pretty good. He says there's a lot of silly, goofy, scary shit to get through and then once you hit the actual party, it's a pretty good time.
And he said his favorite part of the whole thing was the massive quantities of drugs that's there.
Right.
It's like
We're talking.
He's talking. We got ice.
Ice.
We got blow. We got H. I mean, it's whatever you want to do, baby. They got it.
Right.
And he's like fucking twitching and shit and scratching himself.
Yeah, he's ready.
Yeah, he needs a hit quick.
Yeah. Buffy ends up leaving the rest of the gang there to finish pumpkin carving, and she didn't touch her pumpkin at all.
Which I wonder who bought it, because that's really shitty on her part.
Yeah.
If it was given to her and she just ignored it.
Right. I agree. Pumpkins, I mean, maybe in 99 they were, but they're not cheap.
No, and she that's very bitchy.
Right.
Yeah, not a good friend.
Not a good friend. Once again, another installment of Buffy Summers is a shit friend.
And it has only child syndrome.
Right. Buffy ends up leaving, and on her way home, she is seemingly attacked by a demon that she quickly makes short work of with a quick backhanded punch to the face. And it turns out that the demon was just a kid wearing a mask.
Yeah, this poor underage kid that she just assaulted, by the way.
Right. He takes the mask off and complains that hurt, and he's all like, what's wrong with you, and runs off. And she says, that's what I'd like to know. And that is our cold open.
What I couldn't believe is that she fucking shot him in the back with a crossbow bolt.
Right.
I was like, geez, Buff.
Right. Where the hell did that crossbow come from?
Zeiss pocket.
I was just going to say, probably Zeiss pocket.
Mm-hmm.
B, like, you knew that was just a kid. Like,
well, she's like, I can't have him turning me in. I can't get a record.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So she had to
that
take
does
him
make
out.
sense. Right. That's true.
Or bastard.
Yeah. Man.
So the next day at school.
Also, before you go on, he was a person of color. So is Buffy racist?
It was
probably.
Was that a hate crime?
It's possible.
It's probable. I mean, here she, she's a upper middle class, blonde haired, blue eyed, cheerleading whore.
I don't like that you called her a whore, though.
I didn't call her a
whore. You just called her a whore.
No, I said whore.
But we know.
Do we?
We do.
Okay. Well, anyway, the next day at school, Buffy and Oz are Willow's talking about magic and her next level that she's going to get into, and Buffy and Oz are both concerned. I'm not going to go into super detail. Everybody's watched the episode. Buffy spots Parker at one point in the cafeteria there, and so she bails, and Willow's like, "Yo, don't let him run you off." And she's like, I'm not letting him run me off. I'm just letting him run me off." I mean, that's basically what she says.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. So she's like, we'll have fun at the party. And Buffy's like, well, I probably won't be able to go because Giles is surely going to want me to patrol tonight. And which, haven't we already been through this once, that 2 seasons ago on the Halloween episode where he's like, yeah, nothing goes on Halloween because the real demons and shit think it's fucking crass?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Which he reiterates again in this episode.
Right. So
also, let's briefly talk a moment here about how Willow, even though she thinks she's helping, like, she tells Buffy, like, get the fuck over it.
Yeah.
Come to this party.
Maybe you'll meet somebody.
And she says, maybe you'll meet somebody. Like, I know she thinks she's being a good friend, but, like, come on. Like, and Buffy herself says it. Like, the last thing she needs right now is to be meeting someone.
Right. Why is it always got to be about I must be part of a thing. I can't just
Right.
be me,
Right.
you know. That because there's people in real life that are like that drive me crazy. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
can you not just be you for a month?
Right.
Yeah, you have to be me plus, this or whatever. And
Right.
I'll never understand that, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, Buffy heads to Giles, and she's all like, he hates Halloween. It's his, he hates it. And we cut right to her knocking on his door, and he opens it in full. Um,
It's cultural appropriation. Is
it's
what it
cultural
is.
appropriation. It really is. He's in full poor Mexican wear garb.
Right. This would have been perfect attire for him to wear back in season 1 during Inca Mummy Girl when they were having the cultural appropriation festival.
Right. There you go. He's got a sombrero on and a what do you call it, a poncho
A
and
poncho, yeah.
and he
Fun fact, they released a series of figures specific to this episode. Fiesta Giles, Bunny Anya, and Fear Itself Anya. And I had Fiesta Giles.
Did you now?
And Fear Itself Anya, not Bunny Anya. She was like a Entertainment Earth exclusive, and I didn't get there in time.
Did you cut?
Yeah, it made me sad.
Yeah, I figured. So when he opens the door and he's got a big bowl of candy, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't hate." He's like, "I don't hate Halloween. I just hate you, frankly." No, he's like, "I don't hate Halloween." He's like, "I've just never really had the time to get into it, with my watcher duties and everything." And he's like, "But now that I'm an unemployed loser, I have all the time in the world to enjoy silly things."
Stupid shit.
Right. And he reiterates, "No, you're free to go to this party. Nothing's going to happen tonight." As he's already told her before, like I said.
Right.
So she's like, "Fuck, there goes my cop out." So
she does bring up the incident on Halloween in season 2 with Ethan Raines.
Ethan Raines, and he's like,
Right.
"Yeah,
he's
but
like
Ethan
that.
Raines has already been written off the show. He's not going to be back." And she's like, "Oh, you're right."
Right. No, and he's like that was an anomaly. Like
And she's like, "Yeah, he was a major thorn in our side periodically, but they wrote him off, so who cares?"
Right, and then just disappeared.
Right, never to be mentioned again.
Right.
So,
unless you played Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds on Xbox.
On Xbox, that's right, which I have sitting right there.
Do you really?
I really do.
Oh man!
And you see the original Xbox right there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally the only 2 games I regret not having anymore when I got rid of my Xbox and everything is those 2 games.
Yeah, I loved them. I mean, they were damn good for that era.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Anyway, we cut to the frat house, and that son of a bitch is on fire. And there were people falling out windows with their heads blazing.
Yeah.
It's just part of the party, though. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing nefarious is happening.
No,
that's just the party.
Yeah.
Someone was like, "Hey, let's play Johnny Blaze."
Yeah, and they just ran through the house spraying like a hairspray onto a lighter and just lit the bitch up.
Lit people's heads on fire.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know, Johnny Blaze is the alter ego of Ghost Rider, who has a flaming skull head.
No, it is not.
I'm just saying some of our listeners might not know that.
Some of our listeners are not nerds, or is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay. I can buy that. But anyway, the frat's getting ready for the party. One of the guys has got this old book, and he's like, "Look at this old spooky book, and it's got this funny symbol." So he decides, let's paint this funny symbol on the floor. Nothing bad could go wrong there.
No, this book is actually a real book.
And is it War and Peace?
No, it is. It's the 1963 edition of the Picture Museum of Sorcery, Magic, and Alchemy by Emile Grilot de Givry. It was originally published in 1929.
Huh. Well, nobody cares. So so yeah, they're gonna paint it. Is this Goofy symbol in the real book?
As far as I know.
Okay. So they're painting this symbol out, and uh gosh, where did I leave off? Oh yeah, they're painting this Goofy symbol. Anya goes to see Xander and lights him on fire too.
Jesus Christ.
For no reason. The poor bastard, because we don't like Xander, so
No, she has a reason. Remember, they fucked.
Oh, and he hasn't called
in the last episode, and she was all like, "Okay, I'm over you now," and he was all like, "Okay," and then she stormed off angry that he was all like, "Okay," and then when she tried to meet up with him later to talk about it,
he blew her off. Yeah,
hunted him down at the college campus.
Some may even say stalked.
Right. He was like, "Anya, I don't have time for this bullshit right now," and left her on red. So,
blue balls,
blue vagina,
blue lips,
because she was blowing a Smurf.
Maybe Xander is a Smurf. Anyway, so
Papa Smurf.
Yeah, so she just shows up as always, where he just turns around and she's just literally just there, and it freaks him out. And so, she's bitching, yada yada. He's like, "Yo, you said you were over me," and she's like, "Yeah, but I'm just a woman. So why would you listen to me?" That's what they're portraying here, and I'm like, that's definitely the 90s.
Is that really what you got? What you took away from it?
Well, it's that mixed with her being, well, I'm dumb because I used to be a demon. I don't know how people but it's also like, but I'm a woman and we're dumb. That's what I get out of it. And it's
okay.
90s cliche shit. Like, we don't mean what we say, Anyway.
Well, okay. Yeah, okay. I get where you're coming from now. But
yeah,
also in my experience, a lot of them don't say what they mean.
Well, let's not go there. So anyway, long story short, he's like, "Look, if you want to go out, you can come with me tonight, going to this Halloween party." And she's like, "All right, word life," and then she leaves. They give each other gang signs, as she's leaving. They're just giving each other.
Flash some right now, Jeremy. Flash some. Oh,
that's what I got.
Were those gang signs or up close magic?
Well, that or I might have had a small stroke. Shortly thereafter, Buffy's visiting Professor Walsh's.
Professor Walsh.
Come here, Professor Walsh. Now she shows up to the prof's classroom, and it's just her, the professor, and Riley, or as I call him, Bupkis, there. And she's like, "Hey, could I get today's assignment? Because I wasn't able to make it to class today." And Professor Walsh immediately goes to total fucking cunt mode. And she's like, "Well, I see a head and arms and legs, so you're not dead or hurt, so you should have been here, so fuck you, you're not getting anything, and if you miss one more class, you're out of here." And then she storms off. And I'm like, bitch.
Holy fuck, dude. I thought you were playing the clip.
Right?
I mean, that was a dead-on Lindsay Krause.
Right?
Wow.
I don't like her at all, and I like less as the season goes on.
You are so good.
I try. Listen, we can't all be thespians, but those of us that are, we need to share our gift with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that.
So Riley reiterates that she's not kidding, and Buffy's like, "Yeah, I kind of fucking get that. Thanks, Bupkis." And then he does a bunch of like, says a bunch of dumb shit. And she's like, thanks. And she leaves. I'm not getting into it because I fucking hate Riley. And everyone's seen the episode, so it's not like I need to.
She says something here that does irritate me.
Okay.
When Riley is going on about how Halloween is when, the ghosts and goblins come out and stuff, she says, actually, that's a misnomer.
Right.
And it's not a misnomer.
Right.
It's a misconception.
Right.
A misnomer is something completely different.
The writers are stupid.
You would think writers would fucking know better.
Oh, dude, don't get me started. There are professional writers out there. I'm not going to mention names that can't fucking spell. I mean, literally, like can't spell the most simplest word, like the, like it's like no the.
Blue-handled Kataner.
Yeah, exactly. No, really, there are writers out there who would blow your mind, like in how stupid they actually are. So that doesn't surprise me. It surprises me that it got by the other writers. Like nobody else said, "Hey, what you did? I think that's the wrong word to use there."
Right.
So anyway, then we cut to Oz and Xander, which I failed to mention earlier in the frat scene that the one guy had said, our fucking sound system sucks, and then one of them said, hey, maybe we can get Oz to let us borrow some of his stuff. His stuff's pretty good. And anyway, so now we see Oz and Xander coming into the frat house carrying in the equipment that Oz has obviously agreed to let them borrow. And he's got another great line, man. They're like, oh, Oz, thanks, man. You're a lifesaver. And he's like, mi Casio es su Casio. And I was like, hell yeah, Oz has got the best lines. And anyway, they get stuff set up. And of course, they're all kind of breaking Xander's balls. He's a civilian, yada, yada. And they see the big goofy symbol the guy's painting on the floor. And at one point, Oz is like, yeah, that speaker doesn't sound right. So he flicks out his knife. And Oz is like, or Xander's like, yeah, stab it. That will fix it. And Oz is like, no, I'm just going to strip the wire back some and, that should fix it. And he's like, oh, ow. And they're all like, what? And he's like, oh, I cut myself. And they're all like, do you not know how to use a knife? So anyway, what happens next I find to be ridiculous, but I'm going to go with it.
The fact that he gets his blood on this symbol and then it fucking pulses and nobody seems to fucking notice.
That and a spider appears, a giant fucking tarantula appears in the midst of the pulse.
Well, there was a fake spider.
Well, yeah, there was a fake spider laying there. The pulse hits it and turns it into a real spider.
Yeah.
And no one and there's literally the kid is sitting maybe 6 inches away from this enormous tarantula, and he just doesn't spot it moving around,
Right.
But that's not even my biggest problem. My biggest problem is when you cut yourself, because everyone's done it, do you normally go, ow, and then shake your hand like this so that blood will literally splatter every nearby surface?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You don't?
No. I usually immediately just sever below where I've cut myself. So, and then I burn it on the stove, cauterize it shut.
Mm.
That's what I do.
Oh, okay.
No, but seriously, he's like, oh yeah, I cut myself, and he's just shaking the shit out of his hand, and there's blood just spraying everywhere, and some of it happens to hit the symbol, and that's what apparently activates it.
Right.
And I'm like, who does that? Because I'd be like, yo, dude, what do you do? You just cut yourself and you're shaking your hand and squirting your fucking life juice all over my house? What the fuck?
I thought, hold on a minute. Wait, I thought sperm was life juice.
Well, sperm is life creating juice.
Oh.
Okay. Blood is life juice that already exists.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, that happened. Then we cut to, who is it? It's Joyce.
It's Joyce. Mama
It's-
Summers.
What's her full name, James?
Jocelyn Huer Summers.
Summers.
Summers. Jocelyn Huer Summers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her. She's French.
Right. Believe it or not, Mom's home. She's not combing the streets.
Well, it is like 2:00 in the afternoon.
Right. It's not. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Not high tide for picking up Johns.
Right. Right.
And she is hard at work.
But we did forget to mention, or I did. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but in the cold open when Buffy's walking home from Xander's, and it's like it's dead in downtown Sunnydale.
Mm-hmm.
If you look down the street behind Buffy on the corner in the right hand side, you can see Joyce trying to pick up Johns.
Standing by that telephone pole.
Mm.
I thought that was her, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah.
I thought that was her though. Her.
You thought that was whore? Yeah, it was. It was.
Excuse me. Mom.
Joyce is literally, like, outside of being kind of like not a great mom, she's literally done nothing wrong since the beginning of the show, and just like.
Let's not say she's done nothing wrong.
Well, I said, like, outside of like not being a great mom
and being annoying as fuck. And bringing a robotic murderer into Buffy's house.
Okay, but in her defense, who amongst us hasn't accidentally dated a robot murderer?
That's true. That is true.
Come on.
In her defense, that is true.
Right.
Anyway, Mom is hard at work at the sewing machine, altering Buffy's costume because she's going to go as Little Red Riding Hood, which she went as when she was 12 years old. So apparently Mom just has to let out a couple of hymns and boom, it fits an 18-year-old.
Right. Which means Buffy had her never mind.
Okay.
I was going to go really
really dark.
Like not dark, but really wrong. Buffy's tits haven't grown since she was 12.
Well, she's not known for that.
It's true.
So I could buy it. I laughed.
How much would you pay for it, though?
For what?
For it. You said you would buy it. How much would you pay for it?
$35.50.
With or without shipping?
Without.
Okay.
I'll pay a little extra for shipping.
Okay. How much extra?
$10.
$10. So you wouldn't want it like overnight, not next day.
Not that worried about it.
No, you take it like ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
UPS ground. Week and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. So I laughed through this entire conversation between her and Mom here because so Buffy starts by saying, I want to thank you again for doing this on, at the last minute, short notice and everything. And
right.
And then Joyce is like, well, Joyce basically says it's not like I have a life or anything else to do. And I'm like, well, it's because it's not time to be out on the streets yet.
Right.
So their whole conversation about how she doesn't have, like, she didn't make any friends her first year in Sunnydale and doesn't have much of a life and yada yada, or didn't have much of a life. I just kept thinking, well, you're out there working on those streets. You ain't got time to make friends. I couldn't stop laughing
because you have trouble separating the actual canon from the fake canon we've recreated.
Yes. So,
do you sometimes find yourself in the middle of an episode being like, "Where the hell is Tammy?"
Yeah, exactly. And I'll see like a woman of the night, like on an Angel episode, like in the background in the dark, kind of like smoking a cigarette. I'm like, it's Tammy. That's fucking Tammy.
That's Tammy. That's fucking Tammy.
Yeah. So
I'm glad they could work her into the spinoff.
James, really quick. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
No.
Okay, well, never mind. Anyway, so yeah, Mom and Buffy have a heart-to-heart. Who cares? I don't. On to the next scene.
But she did bring up Ted.
She did actually say that. She's like, she goes, how did she say that? She goes, she said, she goes, well, I did accidentally date a guy who ended up being a murderous robot.
Like a homicidal robot or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a callback. Now we cut to the party.
I'm sorry, one more thing. This scene does have I think they added some extra levity to it because it does get a little sad at one point because Buffy kind of basically says like, well, yeah, Dad doesn't care about me anymore.
Yeah, well,
Or
that's
like,
the writers. I mean,
well, right, but I mean,
it's like, okay, this is a fake world. Dad could care if the writers just wanted, if the show wanted to, kick the guy a couple $100 to make a cameo every fucking now and then.
right.
I mean,
Right.
why make him like a part of her life in the first season and then just be like, yeah, you know what? I don't think we need that guy anymore.
Right.
Let's just make her from a broken home where also her father has abandoned her.
Right.
It's like, geez, can you shit while she's down there? Do you want to just shit in her mouth?
Right.
I mean, damn.
Right. A hot lunch.
That wasn't an offer, James.
Oh, you don't want to give me a hot lunch?
No, I don't. No, but I'll consider a Cleveland steamer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So now it's party time. There's a party going on at the frat house. And this guy's leading a girl around and making her sticker. She's blindfolded and he's making her stick her hands in different shut up, James. Making her stick her hand in different disgusting bowls. One's like got peeled grapes and he's like, it's eyeballs. And then one's got like hot cum in it. And I mean,
oh my God.
No, it's dumb. And she's like, ha, this is so funny. And when she takes her blindfold off of, the grapes where he had said, oh, they're eyeballs.
She sees a fucking donkey show directly in front of her.
Donkey show happening inside this bowl.
Yeah. And she's like, where did you get a miniature donkey?
And he's like, I don't even know.
I don't know.
But this is pretty amazing.
Right. And then he's like, forget the miniature donkey. Where did we find a miniature dude to do that with the donkey?
Right. And damn, he's got some skills.
Right.
To be quite honest.
Yeah, that donkey looks like he's enjoying himself.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're sick and twisted. So where was I at? Okay. She takes the blindfold off and they actually are eyeballs. And she screams and pandemonium takes place and it's just a big clusterfuck of everybody running and screaming. And at one point, I don't know if you caught this, but because we're flashing all around and people are screaming and running and yelling and blah, blah, blah. And we cut to this one and it's a girl who looks like she's dressed up as maybe like a fairy princess or something like that. And she's just laying on the ground with like blood across her face.
Yeah.
Just very briefly. And I was like, what?
Well,
I mean,
it's weird.
What is that? We went from screaming and everybody being scared to now there's just this lady laying there with blood on her face. And okay.
Yeah. And it's not a joke, people. Like that really happens.
No.
Yeah.
Go back and watch it. It's like, wait, what? Whoa, that doesn't seem to fit. Meanwhile, Buffy and the gang are just arriving at the party. They're always. Is it just me, or every time they go somewhere together, if it's all of them or just a couple of them, are they always fucking late to every single thing they ever go to?
Okay, so to be fair, everyone knows you.
Fairness.
Everyone knows you don't show up on time to a party.
Everyone knows that?
Everyone knows that.
Oh. Okay. That it?
That's it.
Okay. So Buffy and her friends arrive late, as always. And she's again, of course, she's dressed up like Little Red Riding Hood, and she has a little basket, and they're like, "Oh, what's in your basket?" And she's like, "Weapons." After 2 Halloweens ago, they're not fucking around. She's literally loaded up.
Yeah, she's not gonna play that bullshit again.
Right. Xander is 007 James Bond. Why? Well, because he also remembers the first Halloween and when everyone was turned into what they were wearing. And he's like, so I figured this time I would go for, I'd be cool. James Bond.
Right. Although, I mean, he became like all army guy the last time, and that was kind of cool.
Right. And he's just wearing a tuxedo. And Buffy's like, you might just get turned into a waiter. And Xander's like, do you have to shit on everything I do? And Buffy's like, somebody needs to. And he's like, I know, I deserve it. He puts his head down and walks away. Willow is Joan of Arc. And she has as everyone knows, a close personal relationship with God, does Joan of Arc. And Oz is standing there just dressed in his normal clothes. And they're like, so who are you? And he pulls back his lapel. Or no, it's actually, he's got another shirt on. Pulls back his other shirt, and it's got a little thing that says, hello, my name is God. So, you see what they did there? See what they did? That'd be kind of cool, though, if you're going to get turned into your costume.
Yeah.
I'm God.
God. Yeah.
So
you best believe I would be smiting the fuck out of some people.
Oh, and I know what you would have came as.
What?
Batman.
Oh yeah. I probably would have worn the scuba suit you see over my shoulder right there.
Not the Batman 89?
I mean, it's
that one over your left shoulder in the very back is Batman 89.
No, there's another one next to that. It's got a rebreather on the cowl.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, Batman 89. Yeah,
the one directly over your shoulder in the back is Batman 89. Like I would have to.
This one over here.
Yeah,
that's Batman. Yeah, Batman 89.
I would have Batman 89.
I would actually. So if I didn't do the rebreather, the scuba suit, I would probably go. Although I am a fan of the blue and gray right here. It's classic Batman.
Well, it's classic the Batman cartoon.
No, comics.
Well, yeah, if you liked that era.
I mean, he's never really worn a black suit in the comics.
Sure he has.
No, it's always been like black and gray or blue and gray. But if I was going to go movie suit, like Keaton movie suit, I would probably go with the return suit.
Oh,
which is in the back there.
You disappoint.
For the simple fact that I've never been, and this is so nitpicky, and it's my only issue with the blue and gray suit over here. I've never been a fan of the symbol on the 89 suit.
Really?
It's got the extra tail flares at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never really been a fan of that. So I would probably go with returns, or honestly, I do dig the new suit, the new Keaton suit from the Flash.
Oh, they put him in an all new one from the Flash.
Yeah.
For the Flash.
Yeah, it's got elements of returns and 89, and an all black utility belt.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How cool
what does this have to do with Buffy?
No. I don't care. People can just get along. How cool would it have been if I haven't seen the Flash or Keaton's return to the role or anything, but how cool would it have been if he had been in actually Adam West's suit?
That wouldn't have been cool at all.
That would have been fucking hilarious.
I do
Especially
have.
if it fit that well.
I do have. I'll post it on. I'll post it on Facebook. What?
Like the suit didn't fit good, so like
Oh,
the leotard's kind of bunched up at the at the knees and stuff.
I do have a fairly. It's not accurate, but it's a fairly good quality bat suit that I've worn on several Halloween occasions.
Okay.
I'll post a picture of it on Facebook
Okay.
on
Now,
the site.
when was the last time you wore it?
It's been quite a few years. So we're not quite in the shape we used to be.
Okay. Now, when the last time you wore it, did you completely forget during that time what a vagina looked like?
No, because I was Batman. I was getting pussy left and right.
Oh, okay.
I was Talia al Ghul, Selena Kyle.
Alfred. Jason Todd. Anyway, where the hell did I leave off? Oh yeah, I described her
What would you be for Halloween?
like right now.
Yeah.
Probably like a killer.
Just
Not really like Jason or
okay.
Michael Myers or something like that. Okay. I was Jason as a kid. I was Jason for Halloween like 11 years in a row. Well, first I was Dracula for like 11 years, and then the last 11 years I was Jason.
Okay.
So, hockey mask, machete, good to go.
Good to go. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So I explained their costumes, yada yada yada. They start walking up to the fraternity house, and a couple of those weird soldiers we've spotted a couple of times just walk out from like some bushes, and it's just so weird, and they just stop and look right at them, and they all just stare at each other, and then the two soldiers go and walk through the other bush and just disappear. And they're holding real guns.
Right.
Like it's not like I don't know. Anyway. Sorry. Oh, and then that's when Xander lets them all know that he had invited Anya, but she'd been having a hard time finding a scary costume, so and then Buffy, of course, is like, "Oh, great! Now everybody has a date, and I'm the weird third wheel." And Xander's like, "You're not the weird third wheel. You're the weird fourth wheel." If we're gonna be,
I think he says fifth wheel.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, you're actually the fifth wheel, and she's like, "Fuck you, Xander."
Right.
And he's like, "Now, here."
He's like, Anya's on her way, but all right.
And then she punched him, and he died.
Right. What's funny is she punched him right in the dick, and he died.
Well, he bled to death because it broke off. I mean, it's a Slayer punch. Come on.
Right. She punched his dick right off.
Right off. We cut back to Insanity at the frat party. Screaming, yelling, people running. There's like people, you see like flashes of people like mutilated and injured in various ways, and strobe lights, and I almost fucking like stroked out during this because flashing lights and strobes and shit fuck with me. So
do they?
Yeah, I was like, thanks guys. And so you see different people trying to escape, but no one can get out of this fucking house. Doors would close, whatever. And then the main frat bro from earlier,
Josh.
Josh. He somehow gets out of like the main area, I guess you want to call it, upstairs, and he's fucking running his ass off, and through his own stupidity, falls down the fucking stairs and breaks his own neck. Like,
this effect was actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, it was. It was very good.
Like when they like panned around and zoomed in on him, I was like, how, like, that dude is contorted as fuck.
Yeah. Well, but I was just commenting on, like, you've heard the term unforced error.
Well, yeah.
You know, the dumbass falls down his own steps and
Right.
breaks his own fucking neck. So
Right. No, I know. I was just commenting on how good.
But yeah, it was a great effect. And
yeah.
you can even hear when he's falling and he gets like to the bottom, you can hear that, and you're like, oh, that was either his neck or his dick.
Right.
And it was his neck.
It was his neck and his dick.
And his dick broke too.
Right.
It's a shame.
It is a shame.
So the gang finally make their way to the front door, and they walk in, and what's going on, James?
There's a fire. No. They get in and there's nobody there, so of course they're wondering where everyone is, and Oz says they need to follow the arrows to get to the party, and Willow ends up getting caught in some cobwebs, and she kind of freaks, and Xander's in the hallway, and a plastic skeleton with a knife pops out, and it's all pretty basic Halloween scary bullshit. And at which point Oz turns around and sees the tarantula on Willow's shoulder, and he knocks it off, and but Willow's still pretty wigged out by it, and Buffy
and Oz just starts shaking her and then slaps her, and he's like, snap out of it.
Right.
And she's like, Daddy.
Yeah. And I was like, more domestic violence.
More domestic violence. That should be the tagline for this show. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, ... and domestic violence.
More domestic violence.
Right.
Or
at the very least, mental torture.
Right. And Buffy's all like, oh, we should get to the part of the party, and they're walking down the next hallway, and they kind of get confused because it's not really going to where it should be, and they stumble upon blood on the carpet, and Buffy leans down and touches it, and she sniffs it, and she's like, it's real.
She goes, that's period blood.
I was
like, damn, Buffy.
She says it's real blood, and Xander's like, well, these frat boys kind of go all out, don't they? And Buffy shushes him, and because she hears a squeaking, and they all
funny when she shushed him. If she had reached over with her bloody finger and like touched his lips and been like, shh, 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 and then he's got this blood shit on his face and his mouth. That would have been pretty good.
Let's try. Let's see how good we are. I'm gonna shush you with my finger. Ready? Shh.
That was stupid.
That was
so stupid.
But you went along with it.
Oh yeah.
So what does that say about you?
I go along with anything stupid. That's like what I do. Wait, go for my nostril. I hate both of us.
Yeah, we suck so bad. So they're all like, yeah, we hear this weird noise too, and they look up, and there's a shit ton of bats on the ceiling, and they all
baseball bats, by the way, Louisville
Sluggers.
Then they all drop. Everybody gets conked in the head. It's just concussions everywhere.
Yeah. And the bats attack them, and the attack stops, and Oz picks up one of the bats, and it's only rubber. And of course, they're all like, what the fuck's going on here? At which point,
an actual rubber, by the way.
Yeah, it's a used condom.
A used condom is what it was.
And we know it's used because it's just full of semen. Just
we could have gone without that.
just full of it.
There's like a double shot glass.
There's there's at least 4 ounces. So yeah, they're all like, what the fuck's going on? And then we hear that same, did you mention the, shake your head yes or no, did you mention the deep voice that demanded to be released before?
I have no idea.
No. So when Josh fell down the steps and broke his neck, we then hear this really deep voice demand to be released. Is all like, release me.
But he's the one that released himself in the condom, I think.
Yeah.
He's been released 4 ounces.
He's been double shots glass worth of released. So we hear that voice again demanding to be released. And then we cut to Anya arriving at the party, and she's dressed in a big pink and white bunny outfit.
Oh, I thought. Okay.
What?
I didn't realize it was pink and white.
Oh. And she walks up to where the front door should be and was previously, and there's nothing there.
Yep.
And so she walks around to the side of the house. And let me ask you, why is she walking so fucking awkward?
I think it's those big cloggy feet she's wearing.
Oh, okay.
Because at first I was like, does she have a pole inserted up her ass? Like, what's going on here? And then you can see because she's kind of shot from the waist up at most of this, but there's one where she's coming down the steps out onto the sidewalk to look back up at the house, and you see a brief shot, and she's got these big, those big kind of clunky feet, rabbit feet things. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And she looks up, and there's a girl banging at a window and screaming. And as she's watching, the bricks on either side of the window proceed to close in on the window, making the window disappear. And we cut back to inside, and
FYI, James, the costume is actually white.
That's what I said, white and pink.
Fuck you. Well, the only thing pink is just a little thing in the front.
Okay, and does
you.
that or does that not make the costume white and pink?
I would say it makes the costume white.
Oh my god.
With a bit of pink embellishment.
It makes it white and pink.
White.
And pink.
Mostly white.
And pink.
But mostly white.
And pink.
But mostly white.
Fine, now it's pink and white. Not white and pink. Now it's pink and white.
But mostly white.
And you're mostly a dick.
Mostly.
So we come back inside, and Buffy and the gang can't find a way out of the house, and Buffy's all like, we have to find a way out and get help. And they stumble across Chaz, one of the fraternity guys we met earlier, in a closet, and he's he's on fire. No.
Like, hey, Chaz.
He's in a closet.
But he's getting ready to come out of the closet.
And he just keeps saying it's alive, and at which point we see the fake skeleton with a knife from before become a real skeleton with a knife, and it attacks Buffy from behind and stabs her. But she kills.
Where did it stab her, by the way? Because I rewound a couple times and I couldn't tell where it stabbed her.
Like, it got her like in the shoulder.
Okay.
But she does say the cape took most of the hit. So she kills she kills the already dead thing.
She slays the plastic skeleton.
Right, and it turns fake again. And Chaz, they turn back around, and Chaz has now disappeared along with the closet.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Anya, who has gone to Giles for help. She's like, we need to save Xander, and he asks about the others, and she's like, well, they're trapped too, but we need to save Xander.
Right.
Because she's hung up on that Alexander Lavelle Harris dick.
Listen, maybe he's low-key big hog.
Like, he knows how to lay down that pipe.
I mean, who knows what he's packing.
Right. And we cut back, and Xander's trying to talk to Buffy and the others, and realizes that they can't hear him or see him, because they're all like ignoring him. Then Buffy and Willow proceed to have a fight over Buffy giving orders, and then
yes, these are the notorious lines I brought up earlier. Where
right, and whether or not Willow can safely do a guiding spell to lead the way out.
With spoiler alert, she cannot.
It's just kind of a like Jeremy said earlier, Buffy's like, she's giving out orders as she should be, and Willow's all like, man, you're not the boss of me, I'm not your sidekick, blah 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 blah. Like, both of those things are wholly inaccurate.
Right.
Like, in any time of trouble, Buffy should automatically be the one taking charge and giving out orders.
Let's see. Person with superpowers or dainty little redhead girl who isn't that good at magic.
Right.
Who do you want giving the orders, James?
Willow and Oz go off on their own to try and find a way out, and they find the stairs, and they head up the stairs, and as they're walking through a hall, Oz starts
Okay.
Sorry.
Oz starts sneezing heavily.
I'm allergic to Oz's werewolf form.
Yeah, Oz began sneezing heavily and right into Willow's fucking face.
Right.
Which Willow's shitty about because she's a germaphobe.
Right.
So she immediately slaps Oz and runs off down the hall, and Oz breaks the fourth wall, looks right at the camera, and says, "More domestic violence." And then you hear da da da.
And actually, what happens is Oz is like, "What are you freaking out about? You let me do worse things in your..." Never mind. Sorry.
You're going to need to write a letter. It's going to need to be posted to Facebook.
So sorry.
We're both going to have to write it, actually.
No, Oz starts to wolf out, and he's telling Willow to get away.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay.
When he's telling her, you got to go, you got to get away from me, and she reaches out for him, does he scratch her?
Yes. Okay,
that should make her now a werewolf.
No, it's a bite that turns you into a werewolf in this universe.
This universe, it's a bug. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And she never mentions the scratch again, so I guess it wasn't even real.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, he ends up scratching her, and he runs away from her. And then we see Xander approaching a mirror, and he sees his reflection, and he's like, he makes a comment about how no one can see him, and we see a formerly, or what it was at one time, a fake head on a table behind him come to life, and he's like, I can see you too.
He goes, and I like David Boreanaz better than I like you.
Right, and
that makes him mad.
Just sends Nikki Brendan over the fucking edge.
Yep.
He starts flipping prop tables and punching walls
and screaming at fucking Joss Whedon, and he's just
Right.
fucking motherfucking everybody that's around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he pulls a flask out from his back pocket.
Right.
Fucking.
Right. He's like, I can't believe they gave that asshole his own show, and I'm over here. I'm
the first person who was ever seen on camera in this show.
I'm supposed to be the leading fucking man. I should be boning Sarah on camera every week.
And in real life. What?
Right. Yeah.
And then he pulls out a knife, scoops out a little powder from this little pouch in his pocket, fucking does a rail right off the knife, and just continues fucking going crazy. It's nuts.
Well, he wouldn't. That wouldn't have been a rail. That would have been a bump.
Well, excuse me.
A rail would have been like an entire line of coat, not just a little bit on the tip of a knife. That's a bump. Not that I know anything about that kind of stuff.
We know you do.
Not that I don't know nothing about no drugs.
We know what you've done with cheeseburgers, James.
I don't even eat cheeseburgers, so I did it for pizza.
I don't like cheeseburgers, but I will eat a giant piece of bread that's covered in cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Why doesn't it make sense?
I just said it makes perfect sense.
It's not the cheese that keeps me from eating cheeseburgers. It's the burger that keeps me from eating cheeseburgers.
Oh, I don't even want to touch it. I'm going to let it go.
That's not what you said the other night.
Well,
you were like, please let me touch it.
I was lying the night.
Please let me touch it. I never want to let it go.
I was lying.
Yeah. Wow.
A good liar, James. Okay.
I can see you too. And then this is the scene I mentioned earlier. We cut to Oz, and he's sitting in a bathtub, and he's like curled up, and he's kind of rocking, and he's chanting over and over again, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. And I think it's because we always see Oz so stoic and like calm and hit like knocking out these one-liner quips. Like something about this really got to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like not like viscerally emotional, but it made me like I felt sad and I felt bad for Oz. And I think it's because we never get to see this kind of thing from the character on the show. And it really makes me wish we would see more of this kind of emotional acting from Seth Green. So, what do you think?
I don't care. No, it was.
Listen, Jeremy. Let's sidebar for a minute, real quick, okay?
Okay.
So the point of this is that we can get together and discuss the episode. Okay. The ins and outs of the episodes, our thoughts, our opinions, our feelings about it. I don't really feel like people are going to want to keep listening if we're just like reading a summary of the episode without interjecting those other things into it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still don't care.
So I'm gonna need a little more from you as far as like kind of getting into the meat and bones of the episode, if we could, please.
Asking a little much.
I'm just saying, I would like a little more uh, conversation, a little more discussion about the episode, about the intricacies of
I'm
what's
sorry.
happening.
What was that? What was that word again?
Uh, I forgot what I said.
Intricacies.
I don't think that's. I think I said. Is that what I said? I don't even remember what I said.
Yeah, but no, it was a good scene. Well, we don't ever. We're really never going to see it. Give it. How do I say it without giving shit away? Yeah, it was a good scene. Too bad we'll never see shit like that again.
Um. Uh. I don't know. I think we get some pretty emotional
Shut your
stuff
mouth.
coming up. I think we get some pretty emotional stuff.
No, we do.
I don't think that's giving anything away.
But
We get to see more.
if you've seen Seth Green act in other things, you know that he's a good actor. And
Yeah.
what do you mean?
No, I'm saying yeah.
You better be fucking saying yeah.
Wow.
No, it was a good scene. It's yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Go on.
When we cut to Willow and she conjures her spell to the goddess of the lost, and surprise, it goes a little bit wanky, and
They're even jumping in her mouth at one point.
right,
She like opens her mouth to scream, and they're just like, and she's like,
right,
I was
right,
like, could it have gone any worse?
right. Um, and she's screaming for help as the lights attack her, and Buffy hears Willow's cries, and she, tries to get to her, but she opens the door and falls right into the basement. And she's laying there, and Josh shows up with his busted ass neck again. Like, it's pretty good practical effects here. Like, his head is all tilted at an unnatural angle. You can see the bone like almost protruding through the skin.
Who said it's an effect?
Right. No, they found a real
They found a real
zombie.
zombie
Right.
with a broken neck, and they paid him to be on the show.
Right. Yeah. Um. Da, 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 da. Um. She and he proceeds to tell Buffy that she'll always keep fighting, but she'll always end up in the same place. At which point, hands bust out from the ground around her and start to grab at her. And
When he said that you'll continue fighting, but you'll always end up in the same place, dude, I wanted her so badly to say, "What, like at your mom's house?"
Yeah, you would like something like that.
Fuck you.
Uh,
From now on, I'm just leaving the show every time.
for those of you listening and not watching, Jeremy he turned his camera off for the second time this episode.
Yes.
In protest.
In protest of being mistreated, frankly.
As she manages to get away from them, and she gets through a door and ends up in a room with everyone else.
So that took a long time to get room out.
Meanwhile, we cut to outside the frat house, and Giles he's got a book open in one hand, and he's feeling around where the door should be with his other hand, and he's like, we need to create a door. And he walks over to his bag that's on the ground, and Anya's like, you can do that? And he says, I can. And he turns around and he's got a chainsaw. And I was like, I was like, chainsaw me, daddy.
I was like, come on. That's what I was like.
You weren't like, chainsaw me, daddy?
No, I was more like, come on.
Okay, well.
Like, what's the fucking, really? He brought a chainsaw? Come on.
And he proceeds to
It would
cut.
have been much cooler if he had magicked a door, shown his, proficiency with magic and just how cool it would have been. Not fucking chainsaw, really.
I thought it was pretty cool.
You would.
And he proceeds to start cutting a door into the side of the house. So we cut back to that room, and we basically find out that in everybody's frantic attempts to get away from their own fears coming true, they've all ended up back in the room where the symbol is on the ground or on the floor. And things kind of seem like they're normal again. And Xander ends up pointing out the book that he knows they drew that symbol on the floor from. And they realize that it's the mark of how did we say this name's demon again?
Gaknar.
Gaknar, yeah. And then Giles and Anya show up. Giles with the chainsaw still. Come on, you can't tell me that Giles, like that door opening and Giles standing there with the chainsaw wasn't a cool ass shot.
It was all right, but I just think it would have been cooler if he had magicked it. I mean, this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not, fucking Evil Dead.
And he says that the walls closed up behind them.
Although he is Ash.
Exactly.
Coincidence?
And there could be an argument made that all of these demons and stuff are Deadites.
Coincidence?
Probably.
Yep.
So Giles starts to translate the book. It's in Gaelic. And he says there's two ways to stop Gaknar from rising. And he's like, the first, or no, he doesn't say the first. He
just says first.
Right. He says first, destroy the mark of Gaknar, at which point Buffy waltzes over there.
He actually says first, destroying the mark of Gaknar.
And at which point Buffy waltzes over there, punches a hole into the floor, and tears up a couple of the floorboards, destroying it. And Giles says angrily, is not one of the ways to stop it.
And doing so will immediately bring forth the demon.
Will in fact immediately bring forth Gaknar.
Right.
At which point we see the demon Gaknar rising out of the hole in the.
Oh, and she did show, by the way, he did show Buffy a picture of Gaknar that was in the book. Right. And he looks, and she goes, I don't want to fight that.
Right. And then we see Gaknar rising from the depths of wherever he's rising from. And we pull back, and Gaknar is about 2 inches tall.
Maybe 3.
And maybe 3. And he's got this squeaky little voice, and he's yelling about how he is the what does he say, Jeremy? Do you remember?
Like, I am the bringer of fear and the Lord of All
Yeah. And they're all like just staring at him, and Buffy's kind of like trying to hold back a laugh, and Xander gets down and he's like who's a cute little fear demon, huh? Who's a cute little fear demon? And Giles is like, Xander, don't taunt the fear demon. And Xander's like, why can't it hurt me? And Giles says, no, it's just tacky.
yeah, yeah. And then he tells Buffy, he's like, Buffy, slaying.
When it comes to slaying, Buffy's like, size doesn't matter. And then she proceeds to step on Gaknar and squishes him with her shoe. And then we cut back to Giles's.
Gaknar, you might have been the coolest demon we've ever
You
seen.
you might have been. And we cut back to Giles's place, and they're all gorging themselves on Giles's Halloween candy.
I thought it was
And-
heroin.
Oh my god! And Xander is staring at Anya, and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "A bunny costume. That's your scary costume." And she says, "Bunnies frighten me." Foreshadowing. Not to spoil anything.
What?
A little bit of foreshadowing.
What?
And as they're sitting there eating the candy, we hear Giles. What does he say? He just lets out like an exasperated.
No, he
like,
goes. No, he actually says something, but I don't remember, like drat or something. Like he's like drat, and they're all like, "What?"
right, and he's like, I should have translated the text sooner or something like that. And then he's like, the inscription under the picture, and Buffy's like, well, what does it say? And he hands her the book, and he's like, the inscription under the picture, and she's like, well, what does it say? And he says, actual size, and he walks off.
Right.
And that is the end of our episode.
It is. It is the end of our episode.
Jeremy, would you like to guess our body count this week?
I don't believe that there's a way to accurately do this, because all the little flashes and shit that are happening, we don't know how many people die. I'll say 3.
I have it listed as 2.
Okay.
But then I do have an asterisk, and it says undetermined.
So you're saying Gaknar and Nick Broke Boy
And Josh, are the 2.
That's okay.
Our
Just threw one extra in there for the who knows who else got mutilated and
right.
Gaknard.
Our music this week, 28 Days with Cool and LA Tune, Third Grade Teacher, Ow Ow Ow, Verbena, Pretty Please, and as always, Christoph Beck with our original score and a special piece entitled Haunted. Jeremy.
Yeah.
Would you please tell me, and our lovely viewers and listeners, on a scale of 1 to 5, how many teeny tiny demons do you give this episode?
It's a 5, baby.
Okay.
I mean, I gave spoilers last week when I said that this week's episode, I said spoilers, it's like one of my top 4 or 5 episodes of all time. My only complaint about the whole episode was the fucking chainsaw thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, come on, let him magic it. Let him be all like, look at me, I'm Giles, I know fucking, hardcore dope ass magic, and like create like this thing around him and then they just walk through it and shit. I don't know. It would have been dope. But anyway, it's 5, man. It's everything to me that a Buffy episode should be. It's Buffy at its best to me. And I love all the Halloween episodes, but I say this one's the best. I mean, Gaknar, dude, that's fucking hilarious. This little tiny, it's like the size of an action figure, and I mean, it's fucking hilarious. And everything about it is awesome. No complaints. except for the chainsaw. I like it when they show Giles like how much more he knows and how much knowledge of magics and the occult and whatnot that he has than any of the rest of them, and she's like, you can create a door, and he's like, oh fuck yeah, and he's like, Dorkalus Morkalus, and the fucking door appears, or whatever. I'm just saying that would have been cool.
Right.
And so that's my only complaint, which is not enough to take any points off for.
Sure. Sure.
They probably did that honestly to save on the budget. They probably didn't have the budget to make a big magic deal there for them to get in. So they were like, hey, just give him a fucking chainsaw. And then Joss was like, yeah, that works for me. So
yeah.
That's all I got to say. Nothing bad to say. So Fear itself, again, it's probably in my top 5 of Buffy episodes of all time. So, James, do me a favor and tell myself and our lovely, beautiful audience, how many ignored, uncarved pumpkins would you give this episode on a scale of 1 to 5 lonely, uncarved pumpkins?
I am also giving this 5 lonely, uncarved pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
When I first finished watching it, I'm not gonna lie, my immediate reaction was it's a 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I rewatched it again in preparation of recording, and when I got done with the second viewing, I was like, you know what? No, this is a 5. It really is. It encompasses everything that that the show is about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it like I said, it has everything that, in my opinion, Buffy should have in an episode, and it doesn't falter really at all. Obviously we have our little gripes and nitpicks, but it's nothing that ultimately ruins or takes away from the episode overall. So yeah, it's a fun episode. It's probably the best of the 3 Halloween episodes. Though I am partial to Halloween, the first one,
the original, yeah.
But yeah, I also think it works really well, and I don't think this was the intention, but I think it works really well as a bottle episode.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, it's a 5 from me.
Rock and roll, baby. I was going to ask you a quick favor, if you could consider it.
Sure. Okay.
Could you tell everybody that don't know already, how do they get in touch with us if they wish to?
Well, Jeremy's phone number is 215.
Wow, he's actually getting it.
73. No, I don't have your phone number actually. No, because we always talk on Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I have your number though, because the first 2 episodes we did, you did a call in.
Oh, yeah. No,
so you're on my phone, but so fuck you if I'm not yours.
No, but I deleted that call history and then didn't save your number.
Clearly.
So anyway, it's got real awkward. What was I? Oh yeah. Go to BuffyRevisited.com. You'll find all our links there. If you can't figure out what to do beyond that, then I really can't fucking help you. So
I'm saying.
I mean, it's pretty simple after that. Just a little clicky on the linky, and you'll find what you're looking for.
Hit us up on the bookie or the Tubi.
On the Tubi.
Maily.
Well, not the Tubi, the YouTube, because we're not on Tubi, because we're not.
Should be on Tubi.
We should be on Tubi. We should be right there under Highlander and TJ Hooker.
Right, and chips.
And in my opinion, no, yeah, you'll find a link to Facebook. Click the link, hop on over to Facebook. We post twice weekly, sometimes more if I find something interesting to post on the Facebook. Those 2 posts a week, or one about the Buffy episode we're talking about, one about the Angel episode. Hop into the comments, leave us your thoughts, opinions, concerns, reviews, ratings, whatever. Same thing over on the YouTube channel. Click the link. You'll find Jeremy, get this. You know what they'll find over on the YouTube channel?
Pictures of my I don't know.
No, that's at the OnlyFans.
Oh. What will they find?
If they go to the YouTube channel,
Mhm.
they will find the video version of this very podcast that they're listening to right now.
This very one?
This very one.
So is this then or is this now?
It's both. I know. It's
Mind
fucking
blown.
amazing. It's fucking amazing. Technology, man.
I love technology.
Tech fucking knowledge. Yeah. And same thing as Facebook. Hop into the comment section of the video. Leave us your thoughts, opinions, concerns, reviews, ratings about the episode, or about Buffy and Angel in general. And you'll also find a link to our email address, which is buffyrevisited@gmail.com. Send us an email, again, about the specific episode that we're discussing, or about Buffy and Angel in general, or about the podcast in general, or about Jeremy's nipples in general.
Or about sending us large quantities of cash.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take cash.
No, whatever.
Right. I mean, doesn't
Whatever's on your mind.
Right, because I'll take the cash, and I will 100% promise you that any cash you send me will go towards accurately recreating this scene behind me
Inside of his humble abode.
inside of my home. Right. So then it won't just be a false Skype background. It will be reality.
And James will masturbate to that each and every day. Going to sleep and waking up.
Probably. And probably once or twice during the day.
Twice.
Easily twice.
He'll be
Easily
dehydrated.
twice. Oh yeah. No, I drink a lot of water. I'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I can, man,
No one wants to know. No one wants to know.
all day long, baby.
Listen, everybody, I want to thank you for joining us this week. James is a sicko, but I'm thanking you all for joining us. And hey, join us next week for season 4, episode 5 of Buffy. I fall to pieces. That's not correct.
That's not correct.
It's actually beer bad.
It is
My
pure
bad.
bad.
My bad. But yeah, join us for that, and then in 2 days from now will be season 1, episode 4 of Angel. I fall to pieces. So nice recovery.
Yeah, it was brilliant. You did
Yep.
so good. You did so good.
Yep.
No one's ever gonna know.
Nah. So with all that being said, I've been one of your morons. I'm Jeremy.
I'm your other moron, James.
Ta-ta.